Tony Molina in the Fade album review. Let's chat about it. Hey friends, what's going on? John here from What's Spinning, here tonight to chat about this latest from Tony Molina, California-based singer, songwriter, DIY enthusiast, and master of the short song. He's been doing it for years, and for a while, he really perfected it. Take, for example, his Dissed and Dismissed album debut. This is the greatest 11-minute breakup album you will ever hear. Quote me on it. It was also really well written, really catchy, really emotional for its 11-minute time frame. And it also excited me because I really loved the sort of DIY production, and it also blended a lot of interesting genres like punk, indie rock, power pop, jangle pop, a little garage as well. I was absolutely sold, and a few years later he returned with Confront the Truth. This was a little bit more polished, a little less punky, a little more singer-songwriter, but I didn't necessarily hate it. I actually thought it was pretty tasteful. Not only that, there were times on the album that it was absolutely gorgeous. Now, a few years ago, he put out his last album, Kill the Lights. And honestly, I enjoyed it a little bit more than Confront the Truth. I thought that Tony approached this sort of bar band style really nice, all while sticking to his power pop roots. Also, his B-Sides and Rarities compilation, it's not perfect, but the Songs of San Mateo County comp it's nice. Now, I was really excited for this new album from Tony. It's been a while since we've heard from him, and he's always changing, always trying something a little different, and I thought that the singles leading up to this were really good, but I personally think this is far and away his most inconsistent work to date. First off, let's address the big elephant in the room, or should I say the small elephant in the room. This is his longest album by far, at 18 minutes. Now, I will say this, when Tony is on, the guy still has the short song down to a science. Like, take for example The Last Time. This all around is exactly where I love hearing him. This upbeat, grimy riff is equal parts pop and punk, and this hook is ridiculously solid. It's so catchy. God, like, when this guy is on, in a minute and a half, he could do so much. It's triumphant, it's emotional, it's a lot of things in a minute and a half. Not Worth Knowing is really nice, too. This is a great medium for him. It's smack dab in the middle of his more electric side. We get a nice crunchy riff here, but as far as his folkier singer-songwriter side, it's actually got some really nice stuff going on too. It's blissful, it's sweet. If you find yourself liking his more sort of bar band power pop stuff, check this out. Leave This Town is really nice as well. I mean, personally, there's a little less energy than I usually like hearing from the guy, which is a little upsetting, but he really won my heart on this track with a really great lyrical performance and a nice, raw, noisy riff that initially brought me to his music. And because of that, I'm actually able to really enjoy the acoustic finale that we get here. But here's where this album takes a turn for the worse, and here's a big issue with this album. When you have an album that is 19 tracks, and most of them are a minute to a minute and 20 seconds long, consistency, man, you gotta keep it up, because there's not a lot of wiggle room. But let me tell you, we get a lot of fluff, a surprising amount of it. My, Into the Fade as an intro, this isn't what I wanted to hear. I mean, I'm kind of sick of Tony's acoustic interludes as they are. I didn't want to hear this album start off with one. Don't Be Far is a little too light for me, a little too fluffy. And because of that, in these moments, his vocal delivery just really does not do it for me. It's a lot less faceless and a lot less interesting. By the time we get to Oven's Theme Part 4, we're getting into complete horseshit territory. This is just another interlude. Like I said, the short song format is great. It's different, it's interesting, and it's exciting. It's pretty bold too when you can pull it off, but then we get tracks like this, and you can just see what happens when you don't leave yourself a lot of wiggle room. There's a lot of fluff on this album. I do like Fuck Off Now, though. This is pretty much exactly where I like to hear Tony Molina. It's so simple. The chords are just so obvious. It's less than a minute, but it's just so punchy and gutsy and has a great deal of emotion. It's also surprisingly more epic than anything else on this album. But as this album continues and gets longer, the inconsistency just becomes more frustrating. We have I Don't Like That He. Tony's always kind of dabbled with folk and folk rock. It's always been very important to him. But this is much more in that wheelhouse than ever, and and I'm just not that into it. Yeah, sorry. It's catchy. I like the piano rock vibes, and it's very average. I feel like I can hear this anywhere. Like by the time we get to All I've Known, my mouth was like watering for a track like this. It is nothing fancy. It is streamlined. It's noisy as hell. It's got that great energy. It's a rough around the edges Tony track, but that's where I love to hear him. It just sounds like it came to him so easily. The guitar lines are just so good, and because of that, once again, I find myself saying this, I don't even mind that it has an acoustic finale. I actually quite like it. Now I'm divided really hard on Burn Everyone. For his more stripped down material, it's actually not that bad. Once again, I do like the sort of bar band vibe to this track, but man, does it ever feel like an incomplete thought. And we don't get a big hook to really, hold on to either. It's not terrible though, for sure, and quote me on this. Four-Sided Cell, as far as one of his more singer-songwriter aimed tracks goes, this is one of the best ones he's ever put out. I don't really hate the thought of him going for a more stripped-down sound. I really don't. I just want a complete thought at the end of the day, and that's not always easy in his song style, but we get it here, and it's really emotional and beautiful. But with Years Ago Part 2, Tony sounds exhausted and not in a cool, kind of angsty way. No, he sounds like he's gonna pass out. And Fluff is a finale. That's a great title for this track, Tony, because it's fluff. Like, it's fine while it's on. It's sweet, but it really doesn't move me, and it really doesn't make me want to listen to this album again. Tony Molina's albums are hard. The short song structure, when he does it so well, it comes off really memorable and exciting and new and just something different right now, and I really enjoy that. The only issue is, when you're getting into that territory, you don't leave yourself a lot of wiggle room. You gotta be consistent, and this album is not that. When it's good, it's fantastic and scratching all the itches that I have right now. But there's so many interludes here. There's so many stripped down tracks that feel like they could blow away at any second. There's so many incomplete thoughts as well. This is my least favorite Tony Molina album by far. I'm feeling a decent 5 on this album, but let me know what you guys think down below. If you like the video, be sure to give us a like, give us a subscribe, and let me know down below what you would like for me to chat about in the future. And until next time, have a great day, friends.